Hi students, welcome to Sreedhar'scce Anantapuramu YouTube channel and welcome to our session, editorial analysis session. So like we usually start with the quote of the day, I like to start the day with the motivation and root words, like to memorize the vocabulary to their best, and phrasal expressions, especially keeping exam in point of view, and vocab of the editorial which we are going to discuss, comprising all the things like phrasal verbs, idiomatic expressions, as well as content vocabulary with their parts of speech. Next, analysis related to the editorial of the day, and the last but not the least, test of the day with the shortcuts which will be very useful to your upcoming examinations. Like whoever like followed the instructions of us, especially I told you in this session the last week after writing this PO prelims exams, whoever wrote, I suggested them to practice our papers which were given in bilingual. They even wrote and they felt very betterment yesterday in PO clerk prelims papers. So I request all the students who are watching this, kindly go to our website and practice all the papers, so which will make you facilitate that that scrolling issue. You don't face that scrolling issue if you practice our papers. Okay guys, like we even did analysis related to the clerk related things in our channel yesterday. I hope the last day, like you would have watched that. Keep watching, more are to come. And let's start with the quote of the day. Virtually nothing on earth can stop a person with a positive attitude who has his goal clearly in sight, said by Dennis Whiteley. So very simple. So you have goal in your sight very clearly and you have positive attitude, no one can stop you. What does that mean? Like the main thing you need to have, like obstacles come, negative comments come, everything comes to you, but the thing is you have positive attitude and you know what your goal is. Yes, you are going to success without any doubt, and nothing can stop virtually on this earth to you people. Let's get to phrasal expressions. You have got two here. Distinguish X from Y. So it's very simple, identifying between two things. It's important to distinguish right from wrong, not right with the wrong. Simple difference. Distinguish generally goes with from. Distinguish right from wrong. It is important to distinguish right with wrong is completely wrong. Next, doubt that. So doubt generally takes that conjunction. Not to be sure about something is the meaning. I doubt that we will build this machine. It's not I doubt whether we build this machine or not. It's obviously wrong. I doubt that. I doubt that. That is a regular connector after doubt. Let's get to root words. Yes, we people entered D alphabet in the alphabetical order of these root words list. So here you got a DAM or DAMO. Dem or demo relates to people. Democracy, government of the people, like everyone knows this, by the people, for the people, of the people, right? Democracy is the government of the people. And demographic, like demographics, we most often listen this particular word, the study of people. And epidemic, pandemic, as per epidemic, pandemic, so these words are pretty familiar, especially these days. We are pretty familiar with these words, like because of COVID spreading among people in a region. Particularly fixed to a region is epidemic. Pandemic means more than. Endemic also. Endemic a certain area. Epidemic, so large group of people in an area. Pandemic, more number of countries in the world. So that's basic difference. Next, DIPLO, two or twice, actual meaning is. Dichromatic, here you are getting one more root also. Chrome, CRHOM. Chrome stands for color. DI stands for two. Displaying two colors is dichromatic. Monochromatic means a single color. Diploma, certificate, literally a letter folded double. Next, most of the people pronounce this word as dilemma. Actual pronunciation of this particular word is dilemma. Dilemma means a situation that requires a choice between two alternatives. Yes, we know this. Like I am facing this dilemma about my career options, so like that. Okay, let's get to editorial vocabulary. Regulated market, a type of market which is perfectly regulated by the central government. In the same way, free market is controlled by market forces of supply rather than this less control or no control or of a central government agency is free market. Next, far-reaching, like widespreading, extensive, importance, significant, very important. Run into severe weather, it's a phrasal expression, it's a clear idiomatic expression. To be confronted with or experience severe difficulties or experience problems is run into. Run into means actually to enter into. Severe weather means extreme difficulties. Spell, to cause, spell, actually spelling related, there is separate meaning here. According to the context of the editorial, spell means to cause, to bring about, to make something happen, to signal, to point to. Next, produce. Most of the people get often confused with this word. Produce can both be used as nouns and verbs. Produce, produced, produced. That is a different. Like you can use this produce even in a noun form, especially agricultural related products as a whole. You can call it as produce. Pushback. So pushback seeds we say, right? So pushback, opposite, in opposite, disagreement, negative reaction, response or resistance is called as pushback. Articulate, articulated, so to express or communicate in a perfect, excellent way, convincing way is articulate. Tinkering, we are familiar with this word, right? Tinker with means try to repair, try to improve or play with, especially aimlessly or unskillfully is tinkering with something. And next, APMC. APMC means we people belonging to Anantapur district. We immediately get to our idea that Anantapur Municipal Corporation. It's not that. Marketing, so actual full form is Agricultural Produce Market Committees. Market board established by state government in India to ensure farmers are safeguarded from exploitation by large retailers as well as ensuring the farm to retail price spread does not reach excessively high levels. That is the point here. Liberalize means to make something less strict. And next, commerce means particularly trade, selling, buying and business related is commerce. Next set of vocabulary: unfettered, unrestrained, unrestricted, unconstrained. Designated. Unfettered means so not controlled actually. Okay. And next, designated, recognized as, designated as, classified as, identified as. Levy, L-E-V-I, V-Y, V-I-E-D, verb forms. Levy means to impose, especially related to fine, we use levy. Next, furtherance. Furtherance means so furthering, forwarding, like developing related, and moreover, further is adjective come adverb, but here furtherance is pure noun, which means promotion, development, furthering or forwarding. Warehouse means repository, depository, less like the place where we use to deposit the things. Next, dispensation, like system, plan or arrangement is dispensation. Next, the characterizing means identifying, specifying something, describing something, right? Next, in the same way here, cattle, like if you have loved to watch Hollywood movies, especially action thrillers, you listen this word number of times. Drug cartel, so group of manufacturers or businesses fixing a high price to add competition and to make more money. So drug cattle, it's illegal. Cattle means somewhat legalized, but the thing is they do this in a very different manner. Next, logistics, overall flow of commercial activity, which includes production, stock and transport processing, is especially related to all the goods, especially to this context of this editorial. Next, centralization, having functions, powers, people or things only in a central location or authority is centralization, completely linking with the center. Next, laissez-faire, it's a French phrase which means allow to do or let to do, to make someone to do something without government's intervention or interference. Government, private ownership, free market capitalism also can be said. Laissez-faire. Next, shore up means to support. Alright guys, let's get to the editorial of the day, market failure. So it's a economy related passage on agriculture sector reforms. New deal for agriculture needs good regulated markets, controlled markets ahead of private competition. The ambitious initiative of the Narendra Modi government to bring about far-reaching, widespreading reform in agriculture has run into severe weather. We have got our idiom, mainly over fears that the free market philosophy at its core and could spell the end of MSPs for produce that has so far been centrally procured by the government. So here the thing is, so initiative of Narendra Modi's government to bring about this change, far-reaching reform in widespread reform in agriculture, it has got into severe troubles because about this fear of this free market philosophy. So it's at its core right now, and it could spell the end of MSPs for produce. Produce means here it's used in nouns form, because after preposition it's used in nouns form. That has so far been centrally procured till now, until now. So it has been procured by the government, but so this free market philosophy is at its core right now, and that is the fear about. Next, an LED party's minister Harsimrat Kaur Badal has resigned in protest, and there is a strong pushback from farmers against 3 bills that seek to replace ordinances issued in June on key aspects of the farm economy, trade in agriculture commodities, price assurance, farm services including contracts, and stock limits for essential commodities here. So whatever the bill has been passed in June, so there is a proposal to replace that bill, the 3 bills related to all these services. So here, so whenever this was proposed, so this allied party's minister, he resigned in protest, and even a strong pushback, means opposition or disagreement from the farmers against this replacement. So opposition to the bills, particularly on trade flows, from the position articulated by Punjab that agriculture and markets are state subjects, and there would be no tinkering with the MSP and agriculture produce market committees that form the backbone of existing trading arrangements here. So the thing articulated by Punjab is opposition to the bills, all these. So markets are state subjects, that so articulated by Punjab is agriculture and markets are state subjects, and there should be no tinkering, no playing, or no trying to repair this MSP or agriculture, APMC, so which form the backbone to the entire trading system, trading arrangement. Several states have already liberalized agricultural marketing, amending their APMC acts, and some have allowed regulated private comments, including direct marketing. So several states, so they have already liberalized, means make something less strict to this agricultural marketing, and even they amended their APMC acts even, and some have allowed regulated private trading also, including direct marketing even. So yet provisions or requirements in the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Bill 2020, providing for unfettered, undisturbed, unrestricted commerce is designated trade areas outside APMC jurisdictions without levy of any fee, and more generally empowering the center to issue orders to states in furtherance of the law's objectives have alarmed states. Here the thing which alarmed or made states to be alert is, so this center has issued orders to states in furtherance of this law's objectives, and moreover, so they provided the bill, that particular bill provided unfettered, undisturbed, unrestricted trading in designated trade areas outside APMC even without levying fee. So this has made the states to get alarmed. A challenge has been mounted by Rajasthan, declaring central warehouses as procurement centers. It's procurement centers under its APMC Act, and therefore required to pay a market fee to the status. So here another interesting step, another interesting challenge which has been mounted by Rajasthan is, so it declared central warehouses as procurement centers under its APMC Act, and therefore they required to pay a market fee to the state even. This is a challenge mounted by Rajasthan. Next, Mr. Modi has characterized the agreements as misleading and promising that the MSP system will continue. So here immediately Modi has characterized the arguments as completely misleading, and he even promises that the MSP system will continue. This is welcome, but the new dispensation cannot bring cheer to small farmers who form the majority and those and whose access levels to markets under the APMC system are the rate of 1 for an area of 434.48 square kilometer on average, and well below the recommendation of the NCF, National Commission on Farmers, at 1 market for 80 square kilometers. So here, so whatever it is, so continuing this MSP system is a cheer to many, but except of these small farmers, because they form the majority, and their access levels to markets under this system is only 1 for an area of 438 kilometer on average. So actually the recommendation by NCF, that is National Commission on Farmers, is 1 market for 80 square kilometer, but here the thing is 1 for an area of 434.48 square kilometer. Obviously that's going to be troublesome to small farmers, which form the majority of the country's farmers. There is evidence also that that mere liberalization does not lead to private investment in new markets, and so we have got that proof, that evidence even, that mere simply liberalization means like reducing the restrictions don't lead to private investment in new markets. When Bihar removed the APMC system, markets suffered a loss of fee revenue with no significant private investments in the sector. That is the proof, that is the evidence. So in Bihar, when it removed completely APMC system, so markets suffered loss of fee revenue, especially with no significant private investment. Private investments did not come into that sector. If the center's intent is to strengthen competition, it should massively fund the expansion of the APMC market system, removing trade cartels and providing farmers good roads, logistics of scale, and real-time information. So the point is clear. So the decision by center is just to strengthen competition, means it should do few things. That is, 1, it has to massively fund the expansion of APMC market system. 2, it has to remove trade cartels. Cartel means just before we discussed, like so some main heads of that particular system increase the prices of the things, goods to a very high level, so that the competition will be reduced. So to remove such kind of trade cartels and providing farmers good roads and logistics of sale and real-time information, means like what are the things happening, that market trade related things has to be immediately told to these people, small farmers, rather than opt to select for so opt takes for proportion. Heavy centralization, the emphasis should be on empowering farmers through State Farmers Commission recommended by the NCF to bring about a speedy government response to issues. Finally, the main thing is, it's not about centralization, it's about empowering farmers through State Farmers Commission recommended by the NCF to bring about a speedy government response to issues. So then only that will be very accurate to all the farmers, especially like to rule locally, like to make the local people rule the local farmers, like to give suggestions, and the response to that issues of the farmers can be solved immediately. So without a strong institutional arrangements, laissez-faire policy may harm lakhs of unorganized small farmers. Without strong institutional arrangements, definitely this laissez-faire policy may harm lakhs of unorganized small farmers who have been remarkably productive and showed up the economy even during a pandemic. So perfect arrangements, strong arrangements, institutional arrangements have to be made. If not, definitely it's going to affect harm lakhs of people, unorganized small farmers. So who have remarkably productive, especially even in the during this pandemic. And laissez-faire means, once again, laissez-faire means allow or let to do without government's intervention. So definitely that's going to affect all the farmers without any doubt. Now let's get to the test of the day. So the last part is correct grammatically, and in the remaining parts there may be an error or may not be. So like you can read directly, an important part of my life. So here, my life, important part. What is the subject? Whenever you get a preposition and you have got two nouns, so left side one is always considered in subject sense. That means important part. Part singular or plural? Singular noun, singular subject takes singular verb. There you have to have has. So answer is C. So the remaining parts, you may have error, you may not have error. If there is no error, all are correct. If there is an error, that will be the part. Next. By the time his mom came home from work, George watched. Means before this thing happened, this fellow watched 7 hours of Netflix. But here the thing is first action. So first action takes had plus V3. Second action takes just V2. So already came V2 there. Here you need to have had. That means where is that? Yes, had shall be here. Okay. So answer is A. Past perfect shall be used for the first action happened. Next, the imported articles which you sell are enough costly. So obviously adverbs shall like add complement to the adjectives of the nouns. Costly enough, not cost enough. So answer is yeah, B is the answer. Okay, I cannot allow you to go out of the class unless teachers comes. It's not perfectly right, because it's not about the condition until, preferably until teacher comes and gives me some instructions. So here the thing is C is the answer. Instead of unless, use until. And the last but not the least of the day, many people don't hardly. Hardly itself is a negative thing. You can use don't know or you can use hardly know. You can remove don't or you can remove hardly. So you can't keep both. It simply means many people don't not, which is obviously wrong. Don't know about the real factors that have led the state to so many crises. Actually, this is a typo error. So crisis, because crisis singular, crisis plural. Okay. So anyways, this is a clear error. It's not don't hardly, it's about don't or it's about hardly. That's all guys. I hope you enjoyed the class. So whoever didn't subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to like. And one more time I'm repeating, so keep practicing our papers, which will be very useful to you people who is going to write the upcoming exams. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like. Signing off.